Good day, gamers. Purple Mentat here, home from PAX, and doing a bit of an update. So, first off, no Minecraft episode today, as you've probably noticed, because I am wiped. Seriously exhausted. It is kind of nuts how much energy got expended over the weekend. I'm insanely happy about it, but man, am I tired. Anyway, I wanted to tell you about some of the awesome stuff that I saw at PAX, just highlights in my head. I avoided a lot of the major booths because I know that those are going to be worth checking out, but one of them that stuck out to me, I mean, yes, Greybox was there, they were showing off Grey Goo and Dreadnought, which looks really cool, and I think it's Motigo was there, they were showing off Gigantic, which seems like it's like a MOBA meets a third-person shooter meets some really cool build up your boss and send it at the enemy game. I didn't want to stand in line for 2 hours to get a chance to play the game, but it looks neat. Go check it out. I'm sure there'll be a ton of press on it. But the big booth that caught my eye was Moonlight. I think it was Moonlight. It's a mobile game, an iPad game, that seems to mix Final Fantasy with Pokemon. Your hero collects monsters and also fights next to them. That was another one with a big long line, but it looks really neat, and I'm probably going to be checking it out. And speaking of iOS, you can probably expect a good bit of mobile videos and streaming from me, because out of all of the stuff that I saw at PAX, it was really the mobile games, the tablet games, and the phone games that were really seemed innovative and catching of my eye. They were fun. On that list, Dungeon Quest from Shinybox Entertainment. I think it's Shinybox Entertainment. No, sorry. Shinybox Interactive. That one looks pretty cool. It's a Diablo game on your tablet or phone, and it's built in, I believe it's being built in Unity. Anyway, it should show up on a bunch of different platforms. I can barely remember talking to the guy, but it looks pretty neat, and it was a lot of fun when I was messing with it, for what part of it I got to play. I think it'll also be out on Steam, but the interface that I got to mess with, at least as far as inventory and skill management, was very touchscreen focused, and I feel like you're going to do best with playing it on a tablet with a controller for the action. The action felt really spot on. The animations and the timing and the responsiveness was amazing. But the inventory management is a lot better with touchscreen than with a controller, though there are some controller elements that were nice. A more traditional game that really caught my attention that seemed really cool from Bishop Games is Lightfall. And this is kind of a speedrunner's dream puzzle platformer with a limbo type art aesthetic, and it was fun. And again, the controls were really responsive, the animation was spot on, they really took the time to make sure that things worked the way they should work, and well, I mean, responsiveness is key with a platformer, right? You need to be able to jump exactly when you hit that jump button. And there's this neat create your own platform mechanic and then maneuver it around to solve puzzles with the, I think it was the shadow artifact or something like that. Brain frazzled, leaking out my ear. One thing that kept me coming back 3 times, actually, and that caused me to buy it right on the spot, was the Sentinels of the Multiverse video game, which I did not expect. I'm a giant fan of the card game, but the transition to the tablet and Steam version that Handlebra Games did was amazing. They did a very good job of making Sentinels of the Multiverse into something that you can play on a touch device, and it takes care of a lot of the annoying bookkeeping and math portions of the game for you. And there's some really cool promos, well, variant cards, basically promotional cards, that you can unlock, that I think the Cosmic Omnitron and Baron Blade variants are unique to that version of the game. Not 100% certain on that, but it was really neat to be able to go in and cause special circumstances to happen inside of a game, which would unlock new villains to fight and heroes to use. That game I'm hoping to do some multiplayer streaming of in the future with a bunch of folks from the AV club we'll talk more about what's going on with the AV Club another time. Name unofficial, but the folks that Vaygrim got together. Basically, someone jokingly named us the High School AV Club, and it's kind of stuck because we're a bunch of dorky jerks. Anyway, that game was cool. Apollo Cat and I bought it and played it 4 times between Sunday evening and on the plane ride home, and it's fun. I love Sentinels. I can't wait for more options and for online multiplayer to be a thing. That's the one thing that's really holding it back right now, is if you want to use multiplayer, it has to be same screen multiplayer. So you need to either pass the mouse around or pass the tablet around. On the tablet, that works fine, but it's not so great on Steam, because having people hot seat in, especially if you want to play with 5, not as wonderful. Hopefully they get their multiplayer sorted out soon. They are working on both the first expansion and the multiplayer, which are supposed to come together. So a bunch more heroes, a bunch more villains, a bunch more environments, and multiplayer all at the same time. Good stuff. What else did we have on the list? From Fractal Fox, a weird little game that I did not expect to be fun on, I believe, iOS, but it might be on all tablets because Unity is amazingly portable like that. Greebles 2: Wrath of the Lichkin. It didn't look like it was going to be fun, and then I played it, and it was, and I wanted to keep playing it. So check it out. If I can find a link to it, I'll include it below. Otherwise, I'll just link to the first Greeble game. But yeah, if you have a tablet device, look for Greebles 2: Wrath of the Lichkin. It is surprisingly entertaining for what it is, which is basically push the button kind of thing. The Greebles fall down from either the top or the bottom of the screen that I saw. You click them to stop them from falling to their death. That's all there is to it. But it's frenetic enough that even without any of the cool stuff, it was fun. And then, as the levels progress, they start adding cool stuff, like things that you don't want to poke because they'll explode and kill all the nearby Greebles, or vortex Greebles that will suck in everything around them, making them easier to hit. Or you'll be on a dark level, but this Greeble will cause a big ball of light around it so you can see what you're doing. So it's one of those really simple games with enough additional mechanics as you go through that it's pretty fun. I had a good time with it. Had a chat with the guy that made it. I believe goes by the name Fractal Fox. You can check out his other stuff at fractalfox.com. I'll include a link down below. Really neat game, surprisingly so. One other thing that really caught my eye was the Nova Blitz card game. Some cool art here for it. Got a couple of their cards because of the cool art on them. They are currently on Kickstarter, and they have a demo out, which I'll include down below. Let's see. Yep, I've got the demo right here. And this is a trading card game, an online TCG, which, you know, there's a bunch of them out. This one's bit of a difference is that it is a fast-paced real-time game. You have a very short timer, and you and your opponent play simultaneously, which can lead to some interesting decision-making processes. Do you try to bluff your opponent into playing first and then throw down something that can immediately counter what they did? Also, you can attack with a creature the same turn it hits the table. So it's really got a different design aesthetic than your usual TCGs. It's it's a blitz. The concept is right in the name. A lot of fun. Oh, what else is on my list? Oh, one silly thing that I actually had a lot of fun with and that I'm going to include directly out there is a game that's been out since last May or June called Social Justice Warriors. And now, wait, put down the pitchforks. It's actually kind of silly fun. It's, you know, nerds on the internet battling Pokemon style or Final Fantasy style with different attacks to discredit or overly frustrate their opponents. And it's all of the quotes in the game come from actual internet arguments, which is a fun little trick. And the thing that I really liked about it, and the reason I went out and spent $3 on the game, it's a $3 game, it's linked down below, was it's got a great message for everyone. The best attacks, the most powerful things you can do involve explaining and mutual understanding and finding common ground between everyone arguing. Yes, you can use sacrifice moves like discrediting your opponent, but you're going to hurt yourself doing it. So it's kind of a teaching thing through mechanics, and I really like that. It does a good job of saying, hey, maybe we can all calm down a bit and stop with the extremist attitudes a bit on all sides of this and actually talk about it instead of just shouting talking points at each other. And I'm sure that it's going to... I'm surprised that the guy hasn't gotten a bunch of flack for it yet. I was talking with him and he said he really kind of hasn't. But now that it was at PAX, and I hear that a certain large top-hatted man, large as in famous, not as in girth, I am much more girthy than most, has mentioned it recently. He's probably due for a little bit of less than pleasant messaging. However, I'm including a link below because I think it's worth checking out, and it was amusing. It's not a super innovative game, but it's a lot of fun just for the sheer the fact that all of these things are real things people said on the internet. And that kind of makes me sad, and I like the message of mutual understanding. Anyway, regular episodes resume tomorrow. Once this finishes uploading and processing, I'm going to start streaming Grey Goo on Twitch just to learn and play and have a good time with a new strategy game, because you guys know, most likely if you've followed my Twitch, I'm a strategy nut, and Grey Goo seems like the kind of RTS that's right up my alley. Gonna start going through the campaign, and I'll do my best to chop up the campaign into a YouTube series as well. I don't know if I'll be able to include the Twitch chat in any sort of way. The UI in that game is already relatively large, but yeah, come join me on my channel, twitch.tv/purplementat, and you will see a link down below if you need it. See you there, folks. Have a great time. See you next time.